honest on myself. Pick out dust the move, put them back up on the shelf. Just a little baby girl is in need. Am I coming out of left field? Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. I've been feeling it since 1966 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to De Anza College's 51st annual commencement ceremony. We will first start with the national anthem, sung by Danielle Wells from the President's office here at De Anza College. Could everyone please stand?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, give proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Play ball. Thank you, Danielle. Please be seated. Now, the first order of business in this ancient tradition is for everyone to turn their cell phones to silent. We don't mind photographs, but the little pings are going to get on your nerves. Good evening. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Foothill De Anza Community College District, Foothill De Anza Chancellor Judy Minor, and the De Anza College faculty and staff, it is my great pleasure to welcome you, the class of 2018, to welcome your families and your friends to this year's graduation. Once again, we are continuing a relatively new tradition of holding the event in the evening, or at least the late afternoon into the evening, in a desperate effort to avoid global warming. Trust me, this is better than tomorrow at noon. We hope it'll be more comfortable. We're here to celebrate you, the graduates, and your accomplishments. You're here because you chose and remained on a path that required hard work, persistence, confidence, and focus. De Anza College is awarding 2,982 degrees and certificates this year. And this year, we appear to have a record number of graduates in attendance this evening. We are honored. We are honored that you chose to come to De Anza, that you brought to us your experience, your wisdom, your insight, your imagination, your hearts. An event of the magnitude of this ceremony is the result of hard work, plain and simple that of you, of course, the graduates, and most of all, but also the many staff who labored to make this event one you'll remember for a lifetime. So just give me a moment to thank those who put together what we will now spend 2 hours doing together. The overall coordination, the physical setup of the site, the sign language interpretation and captioning, the music, the videography, the design and printing of the program, the attention to every last detail, all to honor you, our graduates. Please join me in thanking everyone. But in the gang of everyone, there are a few particulars worth calling out by name. Pippa Gibson in Administrative Services, Danielle Wells, who you just heard, in the President's Office, Laura Watson in Student Services, Olga Everett in the Office of Instruction, Sally Gore, Chris Wynn, Manny De Silva and Joe Cook and their colleagues in Custodial and Grounds, and the Associate Vice President of College Operations, Pam Gray, who coordinated it all. In the Office of Communications, Leah Mieso, Lori Susi, Brandon Bailey, Edwin Karangai, and Stephen Wynn put together the program, the visuals of what will be part of your memory today. Thank you as well to the classified professionals across the college who volunteered to assist. They were the ones trying to get you into the lines. We almost ran out of chairs. I'd like to introduce now two of our elected trustees of the Foothill De Anza Community College District. It's my pleasure to welcome them. Please stand as I introduce them. Trustee Peter Landsberger. And Trustee Gilbert Wong. They are elected by the people of this district to represent the broader interests of our community. Let me also introduce to you our student trustee, who was elected this spring by De Anza student body to serve with our publicly elected trustees on the board, Heman Wong. We also want to welcome District Chancellor Judy Minor. Our district vice chancellors and other members of the district and college leadership. And finally, we are honored by the mayor of Cupertino, Darcy Paul. Next, I'd like to acknowledge the distinguished members of our faculty and staff who have dedicated their professional lives to this work, to you, our students, and who are retiring this year from De Anza. Those who could not be with us today are acknowledged in your printed program, and they've been honored in the many receptions we've held throughout the last few weeks. Many of our retiring faculty, administrators, and classified professional staff are, however, here with us this evening. Let me acknowledge Linda Conroy, teacher in the Child Development Center, Maria Delas, who's a counselor with the Disability Support Services and Programs. Charlie Klein, instructor of mathematics in the Physical Sciences Math and Injury Division, and the longtime mentor and guide of Phi Theta Kappa. Don Nickel, counselor in the Counseling and Advising Center. Nancy Cantor, Dean of the Creative Arts Division. Colleen Lee Wheat, the Dean of Physical Education and Athletics. She's working. Sandra Blackborough, Instructional Support Coordinator in the Student Success Center. Congratulations to each of you who are retiring. We thank them for their exemplary teaching, their excellent service to the college and our students. Now, before we move on to the first speaker or speakers, I'd like to extend a special thank you to another group that is here today. Arrayed across the stands, the middle of this field and over here. The families, the mothers and fathers and guardians, husbands and wives and partners, sisters and brothers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and the children, whose deep commitment and support made, as you all know, all the difference. We know that many of you made great sacrifices so that members of your families could graduate, and today we want to honor you, the families of our graduates. Graduates, could you please rise first, and turn and applaud your families? There'll be dinners and potlucks later. And graduate, this is the last evening they cook for you. Just get it straight. Part of the deal is when you graduate, you next start cooking for them. I know you can defer it if you transfer a couple of years. Family members, we know you're proud, and you should be proud of the men and women sitting in front of me. You have a lot to be proud of. Hundreds of our graduates are receiving scholarships, commendations, acclamation this year, in programs ranging from athletics to creative arts, journalism to liberal arts, mathematics to nursing, and in every other program. The list is far too long to mention each one today. But we applaud those successes because they indicate the kind of extraordinary talent that we have here at the college. At the same time, each of our graduates has other talents, sometimes not recognized in typical formal awards. They are the talents of perseverance, will, intelligence, intuition, imagination, heart. Demonstrated through the daily work, the countless hours of homework and reading and research, sandwiched in for many of you among equally countless hours of employment, raising families, juggling extended family and rent payments, and every vague once in a while a social life. I'm going to introduce you to a few of our accomplished students today, starting with our commencement speaker, who has been a leader on campus and a powerful voice for equity and social justice, two of the most important values at this college. In her 2 years at the college, Anisa Fatima Chaudhry has been a DSBS senator, an intern with VIDA, the Vasconcelos Institute for Democracy and Action. She was the president of the Muslim Student Association, which she helped to revitalize as a resource for students seeking information, companionship, support. She has been a speaker at campus events, played a leading role in organizing the Student Voices United for Change conference, which reaches out to our high school neighbors. While at De Anza, Anisa took part in VIDA's Public Policy School and is graduating with both an associate degree in liberal arts and a certificate in leadership and social change. Anisa is the winner of this year's A. Robert DeHart Memorial Scholarship, named for the founding president of De Anza and awarded to a graduate who exemplifies service and who participates in campus life in such a way as to grow us as a community, one with respect for one another, affection, and solidarity. Anisa will transfer to the University of California at Berkeley this fall. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, Anisa Chaudhry.
That's my best friend.
Hello, De Anza, and congratulations, class of 2018 graduates. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge this land that we are on and respect and honor this space as the home of Indigenous Ohlone people who resided here before us. Thank you. Now, I hope you all feel empowered and proud of how far you have come today. Take in the pride and the feeling of accomplishment for reaching this ceremony, because all of you deserve it. There's a quote by Angela Davis that I feel is relevant for this occasion. We have to talk about liberating our minds as well as liberating society. To better society and the world around us, we have to start with ourselves first. And that includes doing what all of you are here to celebrate today, actively taking those steps and furthering your education. De Anza College provided us this community that allowed many others and me to motivate ourselves to persevere, even during the most difficult circumstances and challenges, to be resilient in our own intersectional identities. De Anza provided me a myriad of opportunities to better myself and the world through the countless resources, activism spaces, and bright faculty, staff, and students that I was able to meet. The first thing I said when I was asked to do this was why. Why me? On a campus full of amazing students, why was I chosen to be up here? We all share feelings of doubt. I can look nice for you on paper, but the reality is that very few people saw the way that I had struggled. Because of other life challenges I faced during my time here, getting through was hard. I couldn't focus in class. I broke down with anxiety many nights. Large groups of people made me panic. But no one sees that. People tell me all the time how strong I am. But the stronger you are, the less people worry about you, and the less you reach out. For a lot of us, expressing our inner strength is a method of survival. We are conditioned by society to think that the high standards we strive for and dream of are unachievable. But if you know me, you know I tend to do the opposite of what society asks me to do. When we push barriers and cross lines in this nation built on a foundation of white supremacy, patriarchy, and colonization, we are consistently silenced and asked to get back in our place, told we were taking up too much space in a world that barely even gives us room to breathe. And speaking directly to the women in the audience. Speaking directly to the women in the audience, we are often considered to be too hostile, too aggressive, too loud, too dramatic, too much. All words I've heard used to describe me, by the way. And some of the time, I believe them. We all carry generations of trauma and pain that is passed out through our blood. Yet we are expected to thrive, expected to hide our survival to make it look easy, to be warriors in the face of a post-colonial system. But despite it all, we are here, thriving. We threaten that system with our success, and that is so beautiful. We should be very proud of ourselves. De Anza College created a path to prove that if institutions weren't meant for us, we can build them to be for us. For some of us, community college was the only way we could even get access to higher education. It provided me resources I never even knew existed. The space to understand what it means to heal, to resist, to nurture, to strive, to be liberated. The space to build our second families and find our purpose. And for that, I am grateful. The radiant community at De Anza College reminded me that the very act of resistance is alive and instilled in us since birth. I learned resistance from my brother, Hashim, who as the oldest was the first to navigate confusing westernized institutions on his own and made mistakes so that I wouldn't have to. I learned resistance from my parents, who shattered oceans to be here, struggling to make ends meet in a country that considers immigrants and refugees to be less than. From my mother, who since the womb showed me the spirit of rebellion and nonconforming, whose broken English was used as an excuse by others to downplay her genius in these states. From my closest friend Elias, who happens to be on this stage with me, who every time I failed and wanted to be done, would very bluntly force me back up because he knew we both deserved better. I learned resistance from the countless faculty and staff who practice what they preach and instead of asking me to tone it down, join me in the fight, who treat their students like equals and saw more in us than we saw in ourselves. So to all of you today, if you ever question yourself of your worth or ever ask yourself, why me? Think back to your roots and how you got yourself to where you are today. You belong and deserve to be in that seat you are in right now and to take up space in prestigious four-year institutions or any avenue you choose. I don't just want us to thrive. I want to make the ground shake when we walk across this stage and every single step we take for the rest of our lives. I want earthquakes. I want it to be known that not only are we thriving, but transforming the system so that not only we, but our children who will represent the next generation, like my younger sister Amina, can feel our spirit when they break barriers of their own. When we heal ourselves, we reach collective liberation together. We will not be silenced. Use your education to better the lives of our communities, such as for the migrant children currently in detention centers and for the Muslim ban. Use your voice, protest, question hierarchies that seek to divide us. Reclaim your humanity for yourself and the ancestors you walk the shadows of, because your being is powerful and revolutionary. As Angela Davis said, liberating our own minds coexists with liberating society around us. I am proud to take another step towards liberation with all of you today. Let's make the ground shake. Congratulations, De Anza College, class of 2018.
That is, as they say, a hard act to follow. But you've been given your marching orders. Make the earth shake. Don't knock the stage down till the very end. Thank you, Anissa, for your powerful and beautiful words, for the work that you gave this college, for the community you helped to nurture, and for what you will bring the next university you go to. We're proud of you. I mentioned that Anissa was recipient of this year's DeHart Fellowship. Beyond that one fellowship, De Anza students have received more than $500,000 each year in scholarship. And I'd like to introduce a few more outstanding recipients. First, I'm pleased to announce 4 recipients of this year's President's Award. Sandra Rios, Sandra is a liberal arts major who will transfer this fall to California State University, Monterey Bay. She plans to study sociology, wants to pursue a career in service to children, the elderly, other vulnerable individuals and communities. Sandy has been working part-time since she was 15. She was a full-time student at De Anza despite that, and was able to complete her degree even as she helped family members, especially through a really serious illness this year. Congratulations, Sandy. Rafael Villaragasa has a long-time interest in public policy and has immersed himself in civic engagement work since he enrolled at De Anza 2 years ago. He served on the DASB Senate and the statewide Student Senate for California's community colleges, representing all of you in Sacramento. He worked on transportation and environmental issues with VITA and was an officer with the Filipino Unity Student Organization. Rafael will transfer to the University of California, Berkeley this fall. Congratulations, Rafael. Third, Andrea Yepes. Graduating with an associate degree in communication studies, she plans to pursue a bachelor's degree and eventually a career in business after she transfers to San Jose State this fall. Andrea, first-generation college student, has been active with the Puente Learning Community and was a peer mentor for our student success and retention services. She's proud of her heritage and enjoys sharing her culture as a member of the Grupo Folclórico Los Laureles, a San Jose dance group that performed last week at our Latinx graduation event. Finally, Leah Yoon. As near as we can tell from a careful review of the records, Leah is the youngest President Award winner in the college's history of giving the scholarship. She finished high school at 15 after being homeschooled, and today she's receiving her associate degrees in liberal arts at age 18. That could be really annoying, but you've managed to keep it together. Thank you. Leah has been an officer in the De Anza Honors Program, worked in the bookstore while she was going to school. She has a lifelong love of animals and wants to go to veterinary school after she earns a bachelor's degree. She will be attending the University of California, San Diego this fall. Congratulations, Leah. One thing that unites all four of those students and Anissa before them and the others, and so many of you, is the selfless giving of your own time and your energy and your spirit to your families, to your community, and to each other. It is not only the academic achievement we celebrate, though those are incredible achievements, but the spirit of community which has animated all of you. I'd like to introduce one more scholarship recipient. For the last 2 years, Elias Kamal was De Anza's elected student trustee serving on the Foothill De Anza College District Board. During that time, he worked on issues of importance to students and to the college as a whole. Elias has an interest in public policy work and international aid. He was involved with Avida while here at De Anza, and last summer, he worked in a refugee camp in Greece. Elias is this year's winner of the Carl Piester Leadership Opportunity Award and will study politics when he transfers this fall to the University of California, Santa Cruz. Congratulations, Elias. Our students, in their selflessness, in their multiple gifts to this community, are joined by faculty and staff who, in their time and across all of the various constituencies of the college, contribute to not just the leadership of the college, but the daily work that makes it work. I'd like to present 3 individuals with honorary medallions for their significant contribution to De Anza College this year. Representing the academic faculty, Jim Wynn, who was acting president of the Academic Senate while President Karen Chao was on sabbatical. Jim. I have a medallion. Secondly, representing the classified professional staff whose work makes the college work, Karen Hunter, the president of the Classified Senate. And finally, representing all of you, Kalani Hettage, who is the past president of the DASB, the De Anza Associated Student Body. Making a design choice there. Each of the men and women that I have acknowledged bespeak again, to repeat myself, a culture of giving in a college that the state does not adequately fund, and a staffing that is not adequate to the needs, in a community that you yourself have sustained with us. Thank you. These are just a few of the remarkable students at De Anza and our staff and faculty in the 14 years that it has been my privilege to work here. I have had endless appreciation for the talented, dedicated, and inspiring men and women who make the place work. The college has just concluded a year-long commemoration of its 50th anniversary. The theme of our celebration has been engaging the future, the next 50 years. It will be all of you who will engage this future, who will change this future, who will stand and resist those who would harm our communities, who will be the leaders of your communities, the region, the state, and the nation. Commencement is the most important day of the year on campus for all of us. It is for me, if I can say it quite personally, a bittersweet and strange day. This is my final graduation on campus. I will no longer be president about this time tomorrow, which feels really odd. And yet I take with me an astonishing wealth of more than anecdotes and stories, images, pictures, memories. I take with myself the living fact of a community built on respect and diversity and affection, in a state that is itself now committed to an active, serious resistance to a culture of racism that too often dominates our national politics. You do not know how rare and beautiful it is that the community you are creating together, each of you in the rows sitting here, you are creating a community which stands in its existence against the wave of nationalism that is sweeping Western Europe and parts of the United States. What I have experienced in these years here is the work it takes to sustain that, to not ever take it for granted. A few years ago, one of our faculty members proposed as the theme of the annual faculty convocation, when the faculty get together, to talk about you behind your backs, to review who they are in the classroom and how they might engage you better, how their work with you might sustain the families and communities who are here. The topic I remember Sal Breiter proposed was, what does love have to do with it? And you know, there were those who said, God, that sounds really touchy-feely. That's weird. Not sure I want to have that conversation, except when you actually got into the conversation. And what everyone discovered was that the best teaching, the best counseling, the best support from the men and women who work this place is animated by a kind of love, a deep, seriously passionate engagement in the transformation of the lives that you bring to us and from which we learn. This is never and has never been a one-way street. So as I walk away from this place, I realize that I have been given 14 years of an astonishing gift that is not simply memorialized this day, each of those years, but every day of each of those years. Every day when you get to walk across this campus and you see people laughing, and sometimes not only laughing, sometimes really annoyed at each other and arguing, disagreeing, sometimes asleep in the library, sometimes asleep on the grass in front of the side of the library, eating in the cafeteria while the soccer matches go on. I'm for France. I'm sorry. I apologize. You know, Argentina will win, but what can I say? It's a world that you've built here. It's a world. So when you leave, please reflect on it, as I will when I drive home tonight. What made this really special for me? And you will remember not just the faculty and the staff, though God knows you will remember them. Not just for the finals and the grade you thought you deserved. But you will remember each other, even persons whose names you never knew, because they taught you something. You are in a rare and special place when people of so many backgrounds, with so many languages, with so many immigrant histories, can be together and learn from one another. You might even think it's ordinary, because it's what California has become and is and will be. But it is not ordinary. So I urge upon you to do as I will do tonight, and then I will do it tomorrow. Think back on what made this work for you, and bless the stars that you were able to be here with us, as we will thank you for having built this community with us. Now, you know, I waltz off the stage happy to let you know that De Anza will be in excellent hands with its current senior leadership, with faculty and staff of uncommon capacity, and with the Vice President of Instruction, Cristina Espinosa Peeb, having now been named Interim President. I would like to introduce you to Interim President Cristina Espinosa Peeb.
Thank you, Brian. And on behalf of everyone here today, I want to thank you for your leadership over the last 14 years. This is a significant passage for De Anza College, which has had only 3 presidents in its 50-year history. Earlier this week, we held a campus farewell party for President Murphy, at which a number of people spoke: students, former faculty, staff, community leaders, and elected officials. They described the impact that Brian has had in making De Anza an even better known institution in Cupertino, in Silicon Valley, and in the nation. They also talked about Brian's longtime commitment to equity, social justice, and to serving students, especially those students from communities that have not been well served or well represented in higher education in the past. De Anza remains committed to those values, Brian, and we extend our very best wishes upon your retirement. And with that, we have a small gift for you from senior staff that I'm hoping somebody will bring me. Oh, there we go. You have to stand there like a pageant person now. Okay, and men can get flowers too, right? There you go. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce Karen Chow, President of the Academic Senate, who will deliver the faculty charge to students.
Good evening. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'll say it again. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I would like you to remember that name along with all the other inspiring graduates we have here today, and you too, because this person should be every college graduate's inspiration right now. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is 28 years old, a former bartender who had to work 18-hour shifts to help her family pay their bills after her father died of cancer at 48 years old in the middle of the 2008 recession. She comes from a working-class family in the Bronx, New York, where her father owned his own small business and her Puerto Rican mother cleaned houses. She commuted to a good public school 40 minutes away from home and worked hard all the way through getting her degrees in economics and international relations at Boston University. She is still paying off her student loans. And on Tuesday night, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez became elected to be the youngest U.S. congressperson ever. Her opponent was a 10-term incumbent who was seen as a likely replacement for Nancy Pelosi as the top Democrat in the House of Representatives. He was so sure of his reelection that he didn't even bother to show up at a debate to debate her. During her campaign, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez pounded the pavement to meet her constituents face-to-face in her working-class New York district. She refused to take money from corporate donors or developers and still beat her well-funded establishment opponent with a whopping 57% of the votes. To her supporters, she said, quote, "This is not an end. This is the beginning. You have given this country hope. You have given this country proof that when you knock on your neighbor's door, when you come to them with love, when you let them know that no matter your stance, you are there for them, that we can make change," unquote. So here is my faculty charge to you, graduates. Be like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Be proud of your roots, no matter how humble. Be grateful and thank everyone who helps you. Be kind. Work hard. Pursue your passion. Never stop dreaming. Never stop believing in your power to achieve your dreams. And you may go farther than you ever thought possible. We faculty are honored to have had the opportunity to have you in our classrooms. And we'll be delighted to hear from you from time to time. So don't forget us and drop us an email update every now and then. And with that, I'd like to say congratulations to the class of 2018.
Okay, we're almost there, the moment you've all been waiting for. I'd like to begin, though, with calling up two individuals who are going to help us read your names today. Edmundo Norte, Dean of Intercultural International Studies. Thank you, Edmundo. Hua-Fu Lu, Chair of the Mandarin Department. So they'll be reading the names. President Murphy, if you could come back up. I will be introducing the deans who you will be shaking hands with right over here. And as soon as you are all ready and I get the signal, I got to wait for my signal though. I'm new at all this, see, so they'll tell me what to do. All right, here we go. On behalf of the Applied Technologies Division, Dr. Modi Fayek, Dean of Business and Computer Information Systems.
Nathaniel Lawrence Abrahano. Travis Shane Liacano. Ricardo René Salazar. David Gaspar. Sheldon Cochran. Brian David. Richard Webster.
For Biological and Health Sciences, Dr. Anita Kandula.
Dominic Dello Boneo. Ivan Carrasco.
Nang Dong. Chuk Nong.
Maria Valencia Meraz. Jorge Franco.
Tiffany Fong.
Maria Bautista. Christopher Flores. Alvin Singh. Evan Geraldo Garcia. Shima Ragozar. Manju Saxena. Faven Danielle. Lina Hassan. Brian Alejandro Ortega. Iraís Baez. Alondra Garcia.
Tian Yuan. Sang Nguyen.
For Business and Computer Information Systems, Dr. Modi Fayek.
Rahana Raman. Indurupa Kundahum. Jill Shaw. Umbrar Kaja. Ángel Almada Vega. Salvador Ayala. Mary Jane Elian. Catherine McLeland O'Connell. Teen Chowdhury. Emma Peace Murphy. Isamar Areguin. Gabrielle Garrett. Chelsea Lala. Hamza Mezbahi. Ayush Olao. Kwanti the Homie Hua. Patrick Alexander Hawkins. Maria Bonilla.
Terrence Liu.
Ashley Map Martinez. Jehan Burr. Alejandra Jimenez Perez. Andre Richard Yancey. Chelsea Cruz. Victoria Goshina. Matthew Sevilla. Leonel de Anda. Robert Lopez. Ruan Salazar. Michelle Lemire.
Amanda Lay. Michelle Lay.
Eunice Romero. An Hin. Joey De Leon.
Vu Fan.
Rashid Shukla. Sergio Cano.
Yuan Yim.
Jesse Alvarez. Jairo Reyes. Eric Mayorga. Marty Serna.
Liang Wing Ong.
Nikki Kayubyub. Cassandra Berumen. Shaheen Safai Javid. Rene Perez. Nadia Ragozar.
An Nguyen. Hong Pham. Hui Ma. Kim Win. Khoa Pham. Song Wang. Trin Fan.
Minu Umbushta. Catherine Miranda. Anthony Post. Jesse Reyes. Brian Johnson. Stephen Newland. Chris Gaunt. Andrea Gaunt. Patricia Garcia Soto. Arshim Shagwilam. Tron Nguyen.
Trúc Nguyen.
Susan Annette Colley, also known as Lady Hacker. Jessica Leon.
Emily Kim.
Monique Gonzalez. Bita Mostagani. Lysan Andrews. Charles Kunasu.
Tina Tran. Tang Nan Vo. Nancy Pong Josephine Ha Long Chuang
Vidal Alvarez.
Stephanie Tong Vu
Eric Saro Ramos. Pablo Huizar. Antonio Nguyen. Keith Nguyen.
Tuong Bang
Julia Safranovica. Claudia Naranjo. Jose Luis Gonzalez Jr. Thomas Borges.
Danny Dong
Stephanie Chavez.
Mandan Yu T. Kam Van Hong Long Wing
Stephanie Hayes. Mayra Lisette Mendoza.
Junhua Ma
Carlos Ruiz Guzman. Tanya Baluja. Akaljot Singh. Shagundeep Singh Teti.
For Creative Arts, Dr. Nancy Cantor.
Santiago Rocha. Stephanie Ho. Khadija Silva. Orlando McCorkle. Jocelyn Victoria Jimenez. Jasmine Reyes. Valentino Loyola. Nick Hockman. Brianna Solano. Charles Vincent Mesa Koyagit. Olie Kono.
Sayori Shinohara.
Gloria Guzman Alcantar. Maria Ichtochnik.
Jia Junlin.
Jocelyn Sarmiento. Pisana Contrapali. Alicia Eddington. Patricia Figueroa. Christina Bowman.
Lin Before.
Anthony Dionisio.
Jia Yi Lim.
David Chan. Ruby Lopez Mata.
For language arts, Dr. Thomas Ray.
Rebecca Arnone. Andrea Yepes. Ana Delia Acosta. Lori Ann Reyes. William Young Bear Roman.
Miho Yamamoto.
Maria de Los Angeles Ramirez Perez. Andrea Lira. Clay Rush. Giselle Jimenez Perez.
Janina Kadihanan.
Danielle Ortega Bond. Rachel Sudarsanam. Edgar Rangel Rosales. Ryan Trahan. Estefan Tumamao. Angela Bagsik. Minnie Tong.
Dana Lee.
Dana Lee. Meliku Melika Sapong. Hector Moreno. Diego Martinez. Sanika Utuker.
Jamie Wang,
Destiny Brito. Craig Thompson. Stephen Hall. Daniel Quintana. Mariah Pointer. Carlos Armando Morales Martino. Y Marciano Perez. Carla Magana Ocan. Odali Decena. Nazila Samarachian. Jade Armenta.
Kathleen Liu, 刘凯熙
Jessica Attard. Malika Hayes. Lauren Adelweed. Andrew Bookworm Ellison. Janelle Moyano Cortez. Nikia Earls. Kanika Sood.
Shannon Loy,
Mai Lee.
For liberal arts, Dr. Sheila White Daniels.
Mariana Saucedo Medina. Niji Rowan.
Leah Yun,
Nicole Villaruz. Mitra Arani. Johan Lim. Daniel Reese. Gabriela Martinez. Sarah Zweisen.
Kathleen Chuang,
Manuel Puga. Samantha Gerard.
Maggie Lu,
Amanda Guadalupe Saldana. Sherilyn Wittenberg. Michelle Rivera. Abel Bernay. Jasmine Collins. Leiji Veloso. Kayla Hazy. Mariah Hawkinsvetter. Daniel Meduhane. Christina Bishop. Long Pham. Joseph Goodrich. Sofia Solorio. Shaylin Graydon. Diego Diaz Medina. Noel Alejandre Cabrera. Ashley Zane Aquino.
Rina Ota.
Daniela Duarte. Ralph Lauren Pagalinan Gonzalez. Alyssa Colon.
Anne Fan.
Samuel McEntee. Rafael Aldana Villagarcia. Villagracia. Anisa Fatima Chowdhury. Elias Syed Kamal.
Dai Xiuyu. Yuan Li Yu.
Veronica Reyes. Marnie Hassel. Beatriz Fuentes. Anastasia Tentong Liu. Bobby Dykeman. Lilibeth Valdez. Antonique Smith. Lavella Benton. Ivan Victoriano Basilio. Daisy Martinez Flores. Rosie Vargas. Leslie Valtierra. Yuri Takahashi.
Tomoka Narita. Miri Tachibana. Ruzi Tanaka.
Jefferson Ajenra Utomo. Alejandra Muniz. April Nicholson. Margarita Carrera Cardoza. Manuel Espinosa. Nicole Marie Mireles. Mark Raymond Jensen. Kim Duong. Fred Martinez. James William Moore. Alexandria Well. Michaela Ariel Robles. Fong Gam. Yadira Higadera. Vianney Sanchez. Manal Sabla. Luis Peñalosa.
Fujika Ito.
Ryan Raybar. Zoe Weitzman.
Sun Mai Wing.
Mahalakshmi Nagwapat. Kelly Ray Martili. Ashley Gonzalez.
Cindy Marie Garcia.
Jocelyn Martinez Luna. Nimzi Velasquez Semancas. Daryl Baragua. Julianne Agsalag. Christopher Zamora.
John Kim.
Armando Cardenas.
Nang Wing. Twing No. Ching Nguyen. Kang Nguyen. Vi Do. Michael Jiang.
Karina Puga. Darinka Zaldivar Martinez. April Lee Williams. Alina Brianna Sanchez. Emily Hallett. Renato Oyarzun. Teresa Martinez Gamboa. Nancy Rosemary Ta. Carolina Martinez. Rihan Halamichael. Emmanuel Guillet. Darius Maldonado. Marissa Villarreal. Mark Dominic Velayo. Jasmine Esparza. Chelsea Saunders. Dulce Ayala Sanchez. Angela Guizar. Claire Burke. Cristian Cortez. Ruby Delgros. Nicole Freeman. Jennifer Sanchez Aviles. Nancy Aguilar. Nidi Amin. Jasprit Kaur. Sierra Cook.
Shihan Tiffany Beleka.
Susana Lopez. Giovanna Magana. Stephen Vega. China Seitz. Jamie Brower. Mackenzie Lind. Camila de la Peña Medina. Rosia Vera Rosas. Bemesgana Alemo. Jacob Denna.
Phoebe Nguyen.
Desiree Humphreys. Anna Nava. Julia Gutierrez. Reina Calcildo Abad. Mayra Maldonado. Abdul Ambo. Daniela Garcia. Jocelyn Perez. Jocelyn Perez. Luis Blanco. Edwin Gonzalez Bucio.
Leah Vo.
Helen Doe. Thank you. Samantha Beal. Jacqueline Perez. Liliana H. Dominguez. Yasmin Lopez. Cecilia Valencia Chavez. Bradley Ho. Leslie Cabrera. Oscar Sarate. Azucena Gomez Flores. Catherine Hilgerson. Arian Haladnik.
Koi Tong. Ang Chao.
Janine Bowman. Eunice Velasquez. Pamela Ann Salon. Eunice Martinez. Zoreen Tasneem.
Jose Antonio Pastor.
Tomas Moreno. Ryan Peterson. Johanna Voldeshash. Haladani Voldes. Vodeselase. Carlos Indalecio Mendez. Ron Anthony Guerra. Maritza Acosta. Mayra Martinez Jimenez. Albert Luis Pop. Let's pop. Joe Ruelas. Kenya Adriana Vargas. Javier Romero. Evan Mitchell. Amanda Penchev. Kimberly Hansen. Matthew Palmer. Ahmad Legendary Senegal.
萧和香，侯香孝，包君六，刘宝俊，
Cynthia Flores. Ray Anthony Molano. Lorenzo Gervasio. Antonio Zaldivar. Lucinda Cruz. Daquan the Quanster Richard.
Lawrence Liu， Michelle Chen，
For physical education and athletics, Associate Vice President Lori Rank.
Jonathan Ng. Emilia Butts. Dulcia Catalina Sanchez Campos. Travis Nguyen. Dolores Colleen. Melanie Barron. Andrea Ortiz. Tommy Mai. Mark Calopez. Jim Patton.
Andre Wang，
Ana Veronica Beltran. Torvald Thor Tempestas. Rihanna Meyer. David Drew. Brandon Riffall. Candice Cornejo. Angela Lucido.
Christina Lee，
For physical sciences, mathematics, and engineering, Dean Jerry Rosenberg.
Jesus Correa. Prakriti Basyal. Natanya Rapello. Jason Adrian Williams. David Tron. Dirie Ibrahim. Aisha Rahman. Vala Lotfi. Kyle Andre Balina Litau. Cole Billings. Ahmed Akhtar. Brandon Kwan.
Trin Wing,
Calvin Nuttall. Leroy Sugar Brock. Alicia Yanez.
Ang Tu Long, Trin Hang Wing, Long Huing, Luan Huing, Jia Cheng, Natasha Vu,
Jorge Cruz. Charles M. Jovan Salazar.
For Social Sciences and Humanities, Dean Carolyn Wilkins Green.
Paula Chavez. Maria Angelica Ochoa. Cecilia Morfin. Alexa Lawrence Caglioni. Sandra Rios. Sharon Itzel Marfil. Carla Ayala. Yaneth Gutierrez Vallejo. Kemita Sanghira Kolisgam. Alejandra Ortiz Sanchez. Kelvin Morales Ortiz. Mariah Torales. Jeannie Baltazar. Isela Hazmin the Lovely Reyes. fabulosa Claudia Fabián Garcia. Olivia Maldonado. Selenia Corona. Jasmine Alvarez. Nayeli Beltran. Micaela Javelona. Miguel Ángel Valencia. Leslie Brizuela.
Mayu Okazaki. Sayaka Makino.
Raymond Nahar. Eduardo Rodriguez. Jonathan Tran. Chloe Hill. Charlotte Combs. Andrea Ayala.
Tuyi Nguyen. Queen Chuang.
Chloe Beck. Cleo Beck. Mark Noriega. Kelly Martell. Franceli Zaragoza. Alejandra Valencia.
Shi Peng Li.
Hila Akbar. Julia Bilat. Marilyn Andrea Mejia Morales. Alex Hilario. Pelea RJ Moley. Dylan Sanchez. Adan Perez. Alexander Nguyen. Samantha Marie Singh. Carmi May Barbosa. Athena Vargas. Ryan Benjamin Cabrito. Armand Jonathan Malik. Lovedeep Singh. Siboney Caballero. Karina Madrigal Rosales. Melissa Lopez. Melissa Vicencio. Caroline Sanchez. Nantara Ahmed. Deanna Christine Walker. Jade Lilith Walker. Jonathan Ibarra. Maria de Lourdes Ochoa. Crystal Kimbrough. Nicole Sanchez. Angela Amparo Lopez Flores. Natalie Martis. Tanya Perez. Maribel Brenda Arbalo. Latif Swala. Janet John. Nahid Navayazdan. Juan Carlos Mora. Joanna Flores. Isabel González Macías. Alejandro de la Cruz. Sabrina Cruz Orendain. Yesenia Piñón Pérez. Andrew Koretsky. Michelle Martinez. And Alyssa Adams Poitier. Ana Villanueva. Monica Enterline. Katia Kaye. Ariana Perez. Melissa Cabrera. Mercedes Duran Rico. Madhavi Gandra. Desiree Michelle Ann Williams.
Carla Cordilla. Ruby Core. Maggie Chen. Mimi Deep.
Alexis Cook. Cynthia Selena Lopez. Maria Rosales Cordero. Omar Angulo. Hina Lad. Teresa Harmon. Damaris Reyes Herrera. Michaela Chubecki. Cristina Marie Cordona. Nikki Michelle Brewer. Irene Ashley Garcia Pascual. Frank Marino Perez. Nicholas Sansuri. Miriam Fargal. Rodolfo James Agustin III. Jacqueline Sofia Romero. Angie Martinez Reyes. Jesus Cuevas Garcia. Bianca Montes. Mikomi Yoshikawa Baker. Diamond Whitworth. Megan Miyakawa. Vanessa Clarice Zimmerman. Stephen Smithwick. Dante Vu. Aisha Putan. Paulina Hernandez. Sonia Isamar Aroliga.
Finally, it's you.
Congratulations. Let's go. In just a moment, in his last official act as the president, Brian Murphy will officially confer the degrees. But first, I will certify the degrees on behalf of the faculty. By the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the Foothill De Anza Community College District, I hereby certify that the De Anza graduating class of 2018 has completed requirements for graduation as set forth by the California Community College Board of Governors. Congratulations. And now, Dr. Brian Murphy will come up and he'll have you flip your tassels.
I'm glad you guys hung in, because the other people didn't know that you don't get your diploma actually unless you stay here for the whole thing. So, right on for you guys. So I get to do this like really official thing. Please rise. All of you. If you can, please rise. By the authority vested in me for 6 more minutes by the California Community College Board of Governors and the Board of Trustees of the Foothill De Anza Community College District, I confer the degree of Associate in Arts or Associate in Science on the class of 2018. You have now achieved a major milestone in your lives. You have the privilege of turning your tassel from the right to the left. So I'd like your patience while everyone on stage departs. Party at Christina's house. Let's take a final moment to recognize you, the De Anza College graduating class of 2018. Congratulations. We salute you.